winds aren't too bad, but again, you have these pockets of blue where there's stronger winds. Those go along with where the mountains and where the passes are, and that's what you're going to see in an offshore situation. Wind advisory in effect, the areas in purple from Mexico all the way up to just at Ventura County, including a big portion of the inland part of Los Angeles County. However, that being said, there's still fire concerns, fire weather concerns here. Red flag warning in effect for all of the areas here in red. Here's a look at the temperatures right now. It's also quite warm. Close to 90 degrees in Santa Ana. It's 83 in Los Angeles, and also 80s in some of the inland valleys, 88 in Palm Springs right now. And for tomorrow, close to 90 in LA, Bakersfield at 83. Quite a bit of red here in the deserts. Temperatures getting close to, if not warmer than 90 in some areas, but also here closer to the water where typically tends to be cooler. Things are still running about 5 to 10 degrees warmer than average. Kelly?
Well, Chris, winter is still officially over a month away, but another storm could be on the way. Who's going to see more of the white stuff, and will it be as bad as last weekend's snowstorm? Storm specialist Carl Parker is breaking it down as I join him in the lab coming up next.
What's in a can of Del Monte green beans?
If I was a flower growing wild and free, all I'd want is you to be my sweet honeybee. And if I was a tree growing tall and green, all I'd want is you to shade me and be my leaves.
Grown in America, picked and packed at the peak of ripeness, with no artificial ingredients. Del Monte, bursting with life.
Mr. Clean's grandmother was stronger than people twice her size, and that strength inspired his Liquid Muscle Cleaner. It lifts tough dirt so you do less scrubbing, and its nozzle stops by itself so less is wasted. Sure made Grandma proud. Mr. Clean Liquid Muscle.
See the weather like never before.
Look at this! Listen to that!
Amazing starts here. The Weather Channel mornings. Tomorrow, a Weather Channel first, the Winter Weather Prep Rally, a day dedicated to prepping and surviving winter's worst.
Best advice, try not to travel.
In the morning.
You've got our winter weather outlook.
And at night.
This is an incredibly deadly time of year.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Watch the Winter Weather Prep Rally. Starts tomorrow morning on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 75 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, showers early, low 70. Chance of rain, 30%. Thursday, partly cloudy, high 81. Winds east-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday night, partly cloudy, low 65. Winds light and variable. Here's our 7-day outlook.
There's confidence. Then there's trusting your vehicle maintenance to Ford Service confidence. Our expertise, technology, and high-quality parts mean your peace of mind. It's no wonder last year we sold over 3 million tires. And during the big tire event, get up to $140 in mail-in rebates on 4 select tires.
Hello, I'm an Idaho potato farmer, and our big Idaho potato truck is still missing. So my buddy here is going to help me find it. Here we go! It's out there somewhere, spreading the word about America's favorite potato, heart-healthy Idaho potatoes, and the American Heart Association's Go Red for Women campaign. If you see it, I hope you'll let us know. Always look for the Grown in Idaho seal.
From residential to commercial, from large loss to emergency response. Whenever damage strikes, call on the cleanup team that's faster to any size disaster at 1-800-SERVPRO, like it never even happened.
Shopping online is as easy as it gets. Wouldn't it be great if hiring plumbers, carpenters, and even piano tuners were just as simple? Thanks to Angie's List, now it is. Start shopping online from a list of top-rated providers.
Visit Angie'sList.com today.
We all think about life insurance. But when we start worrying about tomorrow, we miss out on the things that matter today. At AXA, we offer advice and help you break down your insurance goals into small, manageable steps. Because when you plan for tomorrow, it helps you live for today. Can we help you take a small step? For advice, retirement, and life insurance, connect with AXA.
We got this one. We got Pepper. Did he help pick it out? No, he's a cat. How'd I get so big? Where am I? You were Mom's belly. How'd I get there? Wizards. Can you make it go faster? No, I already tried.
Now with the Xfinity TV Go app, you can watch live TV anytime. It's never been easier with so many networks all in one place. Get live TV whenever you want. The Xfinity TV Go app, now with live TV on the go. Enjoy over Wi-Fi or on Verizon Wireless 4G LTE. Plus, now you get up to a $100 prepaid card when you purchase any new Verizon Wireless smartphone or tablet from Comcast. Visit Comcast.com/wireless to learn more.
Esurance was born online, which means fewer costs, which saves money. Their customer experience is virtually paperless, which saves paper, which saves money. They have smart online tools, so you only pay for what's right for you, which saves money. They settle claims quickly, which saves time, which saves money. They drive an all-hybrid claims fleet, which saves gas, which saves money. They were born online and built to save money, which means when they save, you save, because that's how it should work in the modern world. Esurance, backed by Allstate. Click or call.
Could really add up. Call Humana now at 1-866-680-4971.
If you missed this Sunday night on the Weather Channel, you'll never know how twisted weather can be. Wicked Weather Sundays, every Sunday night at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Welcome back. You're just in time for our winter weather update. I'm in the lab with our storm specialist, Carl Parker, and we're tracking just a little bit of snow, just enough to coat the ground here in the Midwest.
Yeah, that's right. We're watching some upper disturbances right now, sort of an elongated area, a little gaggle of upper level disturbances that are coming through the northern plains. And along with those, exactly, we are seeing some lighter snow. It's not a real big deal. And temperatures are also marginal. So we're getting some reports of snow from north of the Twin Cities, but it's not generally sticking to the roads. But there could be some slick spots. You want to watch out on 35 if you happen to be out very late tonight. Snow's going to be winding down in the next few hours, and the snow is also now just getting going in Fargo, coming down to 94 and 29, and we'll have a little period of a couple of hours of snow, and then it's going to wind down and things are going to be nice and clear by tomorrow morning as you are heading to work. So we're talking about an area of around 1 to 3 inches, northern parts of Wisconsin. That is the next phase of this system going into tomorrow morning, and then it's going to make its way over into the northeast. So this is the model forecast, and what we're looking at here is the low pressure dropping down through the northern plains, moving over into western lakes. There's the area of snow in parts of Wisconsin and also in Michigan. Then that low is going to scoot farther eastward, and we'll see a secondary development along the east coast, and it's not going to be an incredibly strong storm, but it will be stronger than what we've seen thus far, and that's going to mean some heavier snow amounts. That'll continue through the day on Friday, and mostly here in upstate New York, northern New England, the Green and White Mountains, and also into northern parts of Maine, and obviously in southern parts of Quebec as well.
So there's some good news and some bad news with this. Obviously, the good news is the ski resorts, Killington, they're open for business. I'm sure they're going to love to add to their base. Also, the Adirondacks, I don't think anybody's open yet, but pretty soon. But the bad news is in Maine, they still have a lot of folks without power from last weekend's storm.
Yeah, it was 100,000 people at the peak, just an incredible number of people. And not only are we going to get more snow here, and we're talking about potentially several inches in Caribou, especially on the west and north side of town there, you're also going to get increasing winds. Not incredibly strong wind, but they will be 20, 25 miles per hour, and that might be enough in conjunction with the snow to cause some problems where we've already had problems. So that's certainly not going to be good news for those folks. But right, as you mentioned, great that we are getting snow in these areas where the resorts are opening now, and I'm sure they're making plenty of snow. So here's the forecast in Buffalo. We've got rain and snow coming in on Friday. Looks cloudy Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures getting a little cooler. Caribou, your snow day is going to be Friday. Then it clears out on Saturday. And going hour by hour, we're looking at snow for much of the day on Friday, and again, several inches potentially.
Caribou has already had a record start to the month, by the way. The earliest double-digit snowfall, and they've also seen quite a bit of snow, around a foot of snow, I'd say, around Caribou area.
And we might be talking about 6 to 8 on top of that.
Okay.
So we've got this big cold shot coming in behind all of that weather. That is shot number 1, but another one is going to move in behind that. And what's really interesting about this is that part of this is related to the development of a big ridge of high pressure in northwestern Canada, and part of that is related to a typhoon in the western Pacific, which we'll talk more about coming up at the top of the hour. But this is going to be a huge plunge of very cold air going into the early part of next week. So we take a look at Minneapolis, St. Paul, and look at the high temperatures there. The average high temperature, 47 degrees.
Ouch.
And we're going to be a good 20 degrees below that Tuesday and Wednesday.
Even for Minneapolis.
Even for Minneapolis, exactly right. Yeah.
All right, Carl, thank you so much. Well, still to come in our next hour of Weather Center Live, we'll continue to track the rain tonight and on into Thursday as the southern plains are getting quite the soaking. In fact, check out this time-lapse image of Dallas as we go to break. You can see the raindrops kind of accumulating there on the lens. We have seen close to 2 inches of rain in the Big D between yesterday and today. We'll be right back.
Currently in our area, 75 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, showers early, low 70. Chance of rain, 30%. Thursday, partly cloudy, high 81. Winds east-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday night, partly cloudy, low 65. Winds light and variable. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Another wet and dreary day across parts of the South, but this rain is actually good news for the Lone Star State. We'll show you where it's heading and how long it will last. And another Arctic outbreak is coming. It's bringing bitter cold temperatures, even lake effect snow coming up the cities that could spend an entire week below freezing. From the Weather Channel headquarters in Atlanta, you're watching Weather Center Live. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Kelly Cass.
And I'm Chris Warren. We have what you need to know about all the weather that's happening across the U.S., including right here in Houston, where, Kelly, I think we can officially say it's dark.
Yeah, it's dark, but kind of a pretty shot.
It is still kind of a pretty shot, more in kind of an artsy kind of way now, because you do have still the raindrops, which really tell the story we're trying to let you know about this evening, is the fact that it has been raining, it is wet, and still kind of pretty, though. You have the little dots there in the distance, you can see the lights within the raindrops as well, and in focus, Kelly.
Yeah, that is pretty cool, and it almost looks like Christmas lights. And by the way, I see people in my neighborhood putting Christmas lights up already, believe it or not. Here we are, the beginning of November. A lot of people already thinking ahead to the holidays. We've got Thanksgiving and Christmas really not that far away, but we're also tracking rain showers that's going to be impacting some of your travel plans over the next couple of days. It's all starting here in Texas. We are tracking some moisture that was a tropical system in the eastern Pacific by the name of Vance, and all that moisture streaming up over Texas and also getting caught up ahead of a frontal boundary across the Mid-South. On our water vapor satellite, by the way, way. You can see the grays, whites, and especially that brighter shade of purple. That is where we have a lot of moisture through the upper levels of the atmosphere. So we go beneath the clouds, we find some of that rain right along this frontal boundary that's kind of stalled out from Tennessee all the way down to Texas. That basically means this frontal boundary is really not moving a whole lot. So it's going to stick around for a little while around Shreveport, Monroe, Louisiana, down towards Houston. I just checked on your airport situation. We're actually doing okay despite the clouds and the rain that we've had. All the heavy rain now starting to work its way across the state line into the western parts of Louisiana. We're tracking that rain along Interstate 45, also 35 down towards San Antonio. We have picked up some significant rainfall from this, and that's actually a good thing. We need the rain here in Texas. We have a terrible drought going on. In fact, for Dallas, if you go back to the beginning of the year, back to January 1st, we've only had a little over 19 inches of rain, so we're about a foot below average. So that's not good for the livestock and the ranching industry, and of course the yards, the lakes are very low as well, and you can see that we are finally getting a nice dose of rain here. Look at Lubbock. We picked up over 3 inches of rain the past 3 days. San Angelo closing in on 3 inches. Wichita Falls over an inch for you. In the Dallas-Fort Worth area, about an inch to about an inch and a half in some areas like Mineral Wells. So here's a look at the rain that extends up into the northern parts of Mississippi. Note the yellow right in here. That's some heavier rain that's approaching Tupelo right now. No lightning associated with this, so that's the good news. We're not concerned about severe weather. And as a matter of fact, this rain will start to kind of peter out as it works its way into some slightly drier air across the southeastern states like Georgia and Alabama. See how it kind of breaks up a little bit, but then we see a resurgence as it gets into the North Georgia mountains, perhaps some heavier rain as we go into early tomorrow morning. And there's 8 o'clock in the morning right there, right over Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. Could be some delays in Atlanta, and be careful heading in on the interstate as well. There could be some problems with the wet roadways as well. So we're just going to have basically a cloudy afternoon tomorrow, but until then, yeah, we could see up to 2 inches in some parts of Texas. Chris?
And in parts of Texas, that rain is very much needed. For some, it's really the perfect scenario because the rain is right where they need it. And meteorologist Mike Bettis is in Dallas. He's talking rain and if it will be enough to make a difference.
It's been an ongoing issue for years in Texas, drought and extreme drought here in Dallas and Fort Worth, helped out by what Mother Nature has been providing the last day or so, and that is plentiful rain. Just light showers for the remainder of the day. Hasn't really hurt the commute much. Traffic has been moving along swimmingly today. The evening commute shouldn't be too terrible. We'll have wet roads, but I don't think enough to cause us any flooding out here with the heavy rain well past us now. If you take a look at the beautiful skyline of Dallas, some of the buildings are hard to pick out. In fact, the tallest building there in the center of your screen, that is the Bank of America Plaza. It's 920 feet tall, but the cloud deck at 600 feet is obscuring about the top third of the building. So the literally head in the clouds up there. Looking for cold conditions to remain for the day. Temperatures generally only in the 50s, at times breezy with the sprinkles out. We asked folks what they thought of this weather. Is it a good thing? Check out what one woman said.
Yeah, we really need this rain, so it's a blessing. It's a blessing from God, so I'm really thankful for it. I don't mind dealing with it at all. We need the rain because we've had a drought in the past, and we need this.
And we've had cold days in the past, and we have cold days in the future, and it looks like winter right now in New York City. Rockefeller Center, are you ready for it? Looks like a lot of people are already on the rink. And on the ball, as always, Storm Specialist Carl Parker in the lab with a look at what will be even colder air coming. Hey, Carl.
Hey, Chris. Yeah, it's going to be very chilly come next Tuesday and Wednesday. And part of the reason for that is a tropical system, a typhoon in the western Pacific that is very close to Japan. And we'll take a look at that in just a moment. Let's first of all show you the water vapor picture across the U.S. And so this is the last 12 hours. And we use this to detect water vapor in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere, but also to see what the atmospheric motion is. And generally, right now, it's coming out of the west across a lot of the country. That is a zonal flow, one that moves from west to east. And in that latitudinal flow, you're not getting a lot of intrusion of cold air. Now, we will see a little more intrusion of cold air into the lakes in northeast next couple of days. There you see the jet stream. And it's not that the jet stream brings this cold air down. Rather, those features work together concordantly. When you have a big temperature contrast like that, that's actually actually forming the jet stream. So those things are working in tandem, and here's that intrusion that we see Thursday into Friday. Some moderation then in the middle of the country, but really cold air then builds in Canada over the weekend and will start to come down Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday into the Midwest. And part of the reason for that is this dying tropical system, which was once a super typhoon, had winds of 180 miles per hour, now just a shadow of its former self. But what we're going to see is this injection of warm and humid air from that typhoon into the North Pacific, into Alaska, and into Western Canada. And what that will do is reshape the temperature profile in these areas, reshape the pressure, and therefore change the shape of the upper level winds. And as we see a buckling here, we're going to see more of a dip in Canada and down into the United States, all across North America. So we probably would have seen this cold air coming down anyway, but what this will do is it will enhance that cold air as it comes down Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and it's going to be very chilly. We're talking about temperatures that will be well below average, only in the 30s for high in Chicago. Come Tuesday, 35 degrees, and that cold air then spreading into the east and southeast on Wednesday. And we'll have much more on this in our 7-day forecast. That's coming right up.
Wearing glasses with just any Progressive lenses? See the difference with Verilux, the only Progressive lens brand with lenses designed using wave technology. Enjoy smooth transitions and sharp vision. Never compromise. Ask your eye care professional for Verilux.
Ask your eye care professional about Transitions signature lenses.
Hershey's Spreads. Bring the delicious taste of Hershey's chocolate to anything. Everything. With Hershey's Spreads, the possibilities are delicious.
Dad, I know I haven't said this often enough, but thank you.
Thank you, Mom, for protecting my future.
Thank you for being my hero and my dad.
Military families are uniquely thankful for many things. The legacy of USAA Auto Insurance could be one of them. If you're a current or former military member or their family, get an auto insurance quote and see why 92% of our members plan to stay for life.
Tomorrow, a Weather Channel first, the Winter Weather Prep Rally, a day dedicated to prepping and surviving winter's worst.
Best advice, try not to travel.
In the morning.
You've got our winter weather outlook.
And at night.
This is an incredibly deadly time of year.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Watch the Winter Weather Prep Rally. Starts tomorrow morning on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 75 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, showers early, low 70. Chance of rain, 30%. Thursday, sunshine and clouds mixed, high 81. Thursday night, partly cloudy, low 65. Winds light and variable. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Weather like never before.
Look at this! Listen to that!
Amazing starts here. The Weather Channel mornings.
Remember the hassle of vacuuming before the Dyson DC59 Motorhead? Before our direct drive cleaner head increased brush power to outclean the 5 best-selling full-size vacuums across carpets and hard floors without the hassle of a cord.
Can you start tomorrow?
Tomorrow, we're booked solid.
We close on the house tomorrow.
Tomorrow, we go live, everybody.
It's a day full of promise. And often, that day arrives by train.
Big day today? Even bigger one tomorrow.
CSX, how tomorrow moves.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You're covered, Kevin.
Blah, blah, insurance. Person, come help.
Hey, Grandma. 6 callers ahead of us, Jimmy.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. There to help you get to a better state.
Fiber One now makes cookies. Find them in the cookie aisle.
Welcome back. The lava flow has paused for now on the Big Island of Hawaii. It has not advanced since Thursday, and that's good news for folks in Pahoa who've been on alert for weeks. Geologists are still monitoring lava breakouts farther upslope.
Earlier today, Maria LaRosa sat down with a professor to show what this means for the town of Pahoa and where people live.
Dr. Joseph Dufik, Associate Professor for School of Earth and Atmospheric Sciences at Georgia Tech, is here. Doctor, thank you so much for being with us. This has fascinated us for a long time, following it from the beginning. Why has it slowed?
It's slowed because the flux of magma coming out of the system has changed slightly, and this is very extended from the vent, actually. And so it's slowed because it's cooling down and freezing. That doesn't mean that the magma has really stopped. It's still continuing to inflate the lava flow, which means it's flowing underneath the crust that's frozen. But the very far point of this tip of the lava flow is actually stopped.
Which is why the scientists are still looking upstream to see what's happening there. And what is happening?
Well, it's magma still coming out of the ground, but you can't always see it. It's kind of formed this carapace of rock that's basically frozen out, and magma's moving underneath it, taking advantage of this rift system that's moving to the northeast.
So we know, Hawaii is made of rock from lava, and we see it all over right now. There's so much of it. What's ahead for the residents there? I mean, is it possible to move it, clean up after it? How do they move on?
It's very difficult. Basically, all of Hawaii is a big lava flow.
Right.
Lava flows, and so they probably won't move it. They'll just kind of live around it. After a few years, some plants will start to grow on the top. Tens of years from now, larger plants will grow and just adapt to it, probably.
It's tough for the residents there, for the people in Pahoa. It's a little town on a big island. What's next for them?
Well, the lava flow could completely stall out as it has now. It's possible that some of these other fingers could reactivate along the flank. So it's uncertain at this stage, and no one can really predict. At least at this stage, they should have plenty of warning, though, if it does advance towards the town.
Are there things that we're learning from this right now that maybe we didn't know before?
A little bit. This is an interesting eruption. It's like a lot of these flank eruptions. This volcano in particular is being well monitored by the Hawaii Volcano Observatory, the U.S. Geological Survey, and they're the best in the world at what they do, and so they have quite a bit of monitors on this volcano.
Is this kind of lava flow an indication of anything down the road for the island?
No, this is kind of a standard operating procedure. There'll probably be more eruptions and lava flows along the sort of risk system as we go forward in the future.
Okay. Dr. Dufik, thank you so much for your time. Fascinating stuff.
All right, we'll continue to follow that story here on the Weather Channel at weather.com as well. Right now it's time to check the next 7 days, starting off with tomorrow, which is going to be a tough day to travel, I think, especially here in the Northeast as that rain moves into places like Philadelphia, Baltimore, on up towards New York City. Do expect to see some airport delays because of this rain that could get heavy at times. So Kennedy, Newark, also LaGuardia, right on down towards the D.C. airports. There could be some trouble there, and even a little bit of wet weather. Definitely factor that into your morning commute here in the Atlanta, Georgia area. High temperatures in the upper 60s. Not so high, though, across the upper Midwest. We're talking a high temperature of only 42 degrees. Warm in Los Angeles, though, with some Santa Ana winds. That's really helping to warm things up, and also the fire danger exists there as well. We are seeing some wet weather still across southern Texas. We do need the rain here in Texas. We have a terrible drought going on right now. We'll see some wintry weather, though, moving into the Northeast. This pink indicating more of a wintry mix of rain and snow all the way down toward the higher elevations of western North Carolina, and that's just number one. We've got another cold punch that's going to be working its way down across the country toward the beginning of next week. There's a little bit of rain and snow mix across Michigan on Saturday. Here comes the next Arctic front working its way through the Dakotas into Minnesota. 42, you got to love that, Minneapolis, because yeah, it's only downward from there. 34 is it for your high on Monday. Eventually we'll see that cold air sinking southward into Chicago. Your high Thursday, 35 degrees. The wet weather moves into the Northeast as well as the Southeast, and in its wake, a lot of cold air and some lake effect snow as well. We'll be right back.
At the end of the day, my hands are beat up.
Especially during the winter times, hands are splitting, cracking, making it very difficult to do my job.
O'Keefe's Working Hands. Guaranteed relief for dry hands that crack and split.
Best stuff we've ever used.
It just works.
Learn more at workinghands.com.
O'Keefe's Working Hands. Guaranteed relief for dry skin that cracks and splits.
So here's the story of Lancaster. The year is 1890. Milton Hershey has a killer recipe for caramel. Flash forward, Milton's recipe is reimagined into buttery, rich, smooth, surprisingly soft creams. It's Lancaster. It's caramel reimagined.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Introducing the entirely new Hyundai Sonata. One drive, and you'll get it.
Explore the big world of small wonders where dragons roam, guinea pigs play, and fish show their true colors. Let your curiosity go wild. Now at PetSmart, save up to 20% on select National Geographic pet products.
Hurry! There's a hot offer for heartburn sufferers. Now try Zantac free at ZantacOffers.com. Hurry! It's free this week only. No pill relieves heartburn faster. Get Zantac free at ZantacOffers.com.
So we've had a Tempur-Pedic for a while, but now that we have the adjustable base, it's even better.
I'm gonna go up.
Discover how Tempur-Pedic can move you. And now through December 1st, save up to $500 on a Tempur-Pedic mattress and adjustable base.
Let's get a head start on the holidays. Let's open something before Christmas. Not that. Those. And of course, a whole lot of these. Let's make merry, along with a few other things. Deck out that. Save all these and spread more of this. That's how to holiday. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. 100 count clear or multicolor incandescent lights, just $2.50.
Tomorrow, a Weather Channel first, the Winter Weather Prep Rally, a day dedicated to prepping and surviving winter's worst.
Best advice, try not to travel.
In the morning,
A ballpark flame grilled patty with the guys. Can it get any more American? Boom. Made with 100% beef, bold, juicy, ready in about a minute. Flame grilled freedom.
Eczema can just really put a damper on a lot of things. Constant itching and scratching. I'm not myself.
Gold Bond Eczema Relief Cream. Used daily, it's proven to relieve 5 frustrating symptoms of eczema.
Gold Bond Eczema Relief really works.
Create a magical place to celebrate the holidays during City Furniture's Fall Home Sale. A 5-piece dining set, $4.99. A microfiber reclining sofa, $6.99. A complete queen bedroom, $7.99. Plus, shop online anytime at cityfurniture.com and enjoy same-day delivery and no interest for 18 months. The most beautiful holiday homes start at City Furniture.
Business? Go to OnDeck.com and find out. There's no obligation, and you can receive a decision in minutes. Visit us online at OnDeck.com today.
see the weather like never before.
Look at this! Listen to that!
Amazing starts here. The Weather Channel Mornings.
Currently in our area, 76 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, showers early, low 70. Chance of rain, 30%. Thursday, sunshine and clouds mixed, high 81. Thursday night, partly cloudy, low 65. Winds light and variable. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Right now on Weather Center Live, this is a live look at New Orleans and a big truck going down Bourbon Street. That is one big truck right there. No idea what's going on there, Kelly. But more likely, you're having the pedestrians cruise around every once in a while. Across the street, you see a car go by. You should not have a lot of traffic, especially once that sun goes down there in Bourbon Street. No rain right now either, but as we do take a look at Louisiana, there is some rain, and all the way up by the Canadian border, there's also some rain and some snow. You see this blue right here? That's where the radar is picking up the fact that snow is coming down based on the temperature profile. And there are being some reports right now of some snow coming down as temperatures are dropping below that freezing mark. And for Green Bay, Wisconsin, as we look through the rest of this evening and into the early morning hours, it's going to be rain, temperatures right around 40 degrees, 41, and then dropping down into the 30s. And it doesn't have to be right at the freezing mark at the surface to see some snowflakes come down, because not too far up in the sky, it could be freezing and those flakes might not have enough time to melt before they reach the ground. That's why you can't see snowflakes with the surface temperature around 36, 38 degrees. That is a possibility. Rain right now, and it definitely has some wet roads around the Beltway in D.C. Baltimore, most of the rain to the south, and in Washington, D.C. The rest of this evening and into tomorrow, it is going to be wet. Temperatures running in the 60s and 50s, back into the 60s by the early afternoon. Tomorrow with temperatures in about 64 degrees. Here's a look at where the rain is coming down right now. Nashville, you're dealing with some wet conditions. And this rain band here, you see it going all the way down into Mississippi, into Arkansas, parts of Louisiana, mainly northern Louisiana. Not quite to New Orleans just yet, but near Baton Rouge, seeing some of that rain right now, and some heavy rain too, especially right along the Louisiana-Texas border. Some of the heavy rain just about to move over. Fortunately, most of that heavy rain is north of I-10 right now. And looking a little bit closer at that, this is where you can see some of the heaviest rain. Kelly?
And Chris, eventually we are going to be tracking the next Arctic invasion, or next Arctic outbreak. It's going to be happening across the eastern half of the country, especially next week. And it's all tied to what's going on in the tropics, way over here in the western part of the Pacific Ocean. This is a typhoon, Nordy, with winds of around 80, 85 miles per hour. It's just to the south of Japan. And eventually it's going to scoot on off toward the north and lose those tropical characteristics, but then become a monster storm, we think, across the Bering Sea and really close to Alaska. So we follow the energy from Nuri as it moves later tonight into the northern Pacific waters. There's the Bering Sea right there. And of course, we've got the islands leading up to Alaska right there. And this is going to be very similar to what happened back in November of 2011, a huge storm where we had winds gusting over 80 miles per hour. We saw a storm surge along the west coast of Alaska with waves and wave heights that could actually reach over 50 feet. So that could also cause some coastal flooding along the coast of Alaska and do some damage. So this is going to be one heck of a storm, very powerful. The lines that are around this area of low pressure, these are called isobars, and lines of equal pressure. When they're that close together, that indicates some pretty fast moving winds. And yeah, this is going to be a very windy system, and those wave heights, maybe not even just up to 50 feet, but perhaps even as high as 80 feet or even 100 feet. This is not an exaggeration. This is a huge storm that we're going to be tracking across the western coast of Alaska. But with every low comes a high. We've got a high pressure system right here, and then following that, we've got a trough that's going to be developing, and that's going to help usher in some really Arctic air. We're going to be tapping the Arctic all the way down toward the Gulf Coast. So that cold air is going to be impacting many places, especially here in the Midwest, where the next few days temperatures are going to, or actually early next week, they're only going to be in the low to mid 30s. Monday, that's 10 degrees below average in Minneapolis. That's the warmest you'll get all week, though, because then after that, we do not even get above the freezing mark in many of these cities and towns across the Midwest. Chris?
And Kelly, we're going to take a closer look at that Arctic blast that's on the way for the Northeast, including right here in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. We're going to look at how low temperatures are going to get for you.
For all the joy they bring and all the love they give, this holiday season, remember to give back to your companions, your co-stars, and your co-conspirators. Petco can help with thousands of gifts on sale, like aquariums or small animal habitats, now just $39.99. Plus, earn 5% back with Pals Rewards. Joy, love, pets. Petco, the power of together.
There it is. This is where I met your grandpa. Right under this tree.
Some things are worth holding on to.
They're hugging the tree.
That's why we got a Subaru.
Was it that tree?
Introducing the all-new Subaru Outback. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
At Planners, we know how to throw a remarkable holiday party. Just serve classy snacks and be a gracious host, no matter who shows up. Richard. Didn't think you were going to make it.
Hey, sorry about last week. I don't know what got into me.
Yeah, well, forgive and forget. Kind of. I don't think so. Did you guys see that?
Do you like nuts?
Discover Brookside and discover an exciting combination of tastes. Rich, dark chocolate covering soft centers, flavored with exotic fruit juices. It's chocolate and fruit flavors like you've never experienced before. Discover Brookside.
Ready?
Yeah, let's do this.
Hey, I'm Melissa Joan Hart.
And I'm Anthony Anderson. And guess what? The holiday season starts right now.
Yep, so head to Walmart now for unbeatable prices on food, decorations, and the top gifts of the season, all at unbeatable prices.
You can also go to Walmart.com to get what you need for the holidays. My man. Walmart's here to help you save money and make holiday shopping easier than ever.
So you can make every day till Christmas count.
Let the joy begin! There's my ride home.
Oh, Blitzen.
No, that's Donner.
It's a brand new day. I'm gonna make a stand.
American Laser Skincare has redefined the laser hair removal experience. Faster, fewer treatments, clinically proven results. For value that you can count on, trust the Laser Skincare leader with over 12 million treatments performed. Get huge savings up to 75% off. Call 877-8-LASER-1 today. American Laser Skincare. Love what's looking back at you.
Strange things happen in this area for which we have no explanation.
Sunday night, the Weather Channel unravels a new tale of weather legend.
This is a place where weather phenomena is extreme, where human beings disappear off the face of the earth.
American Supernatural. Sunday night at 10 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 76 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, showers early, low 70. Chance of rain, 30%. Thursday, sunshine and clouds mixed, high 81. Thursday night, partly cloudy, low 65. Winds light and variable. Here's our 7-day outlook.
This Sunday night on the Weather Channel, you'll never know how twisted weather can be. Wicked Weather Sundays, every Sunday night at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Weather Center Live. I'm Kelly Cass.
And I'm Chris Warren. We want to get right to what's happening right now, and that's the rain, and a lot of it in some cases across the lower Mississippi Valley and a big portion of Texas. And Kelly, we've been watching throughout parts of Texas, including Houston, throughout much of the evening. And one thing we can tell you with 100% certainty and accuracy, it is dark right now. We also know, based on observations and based on radar, that it is wet. The question is, how long will the rain and the wet weather last in Texas? Although it's needed, wonder how long it's going to last. Kelly?
But I do have good news for Houston, Dallas, all the places where we saw a lot of clouds and rain today. The airports actually held up pretty well. We didn't see really any thunderstorms or any really heavy rain out there in Texas, so that's the good news. They're able to keep up with that, and the planes are going in and out just as usual. But we do see some heavy rain, a pocket of heavy rain about to move into the parishes of western Louisiana. We've got a stationary front draped across the Tennessee Valley, extending all the way back toward the Mexican border here, and along that stationary front, front. That is where we're focusing some of the heavier rain. And at times, you might hear a rumble of thunder, but really overall, we're not seeing much convective activity at all. So there's a look at radar. Houston, we just saw your live picture, the Earth Cam showing the clouds certainly out there. We definitely have a little bit of light rain over you. Over towards San Antonio and Bexar County, we've been tracking some moderate to heavy rain at times. And in fact, it looks like that rain is going to continue through the rest of your evening on into late tonight and into tomorrow morning as well, right in time for your morning rush hour commute and as you're getting the kids ready for school as well. Temperatures are going to pretty much stay in the mid to upper 50s. We follow the rain up through the Tennessee Valley, heavy at times. Note the darker green and a little bit of yellow showing up here just to the east of Nashville. Those are some heavier downpours, while northern Alabama, it's mainly just some light rain, maybe just some sprinkles out there around the Huntsville area, back towards Tupelo, Mississippi as well. And we're going to track this rain as it tries to work its way into some relatively dry air across the southeast. Even Atlanta, probably not going to see a whole lot out of this, but certainly the North Georgia mountains could see some pockets of heavier rain late tonight into tomorrow morning. Here we are now, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, and we see just some broken up light rain activity across the southeast, but still some rain lingering across deep South Texas. And as Chris mentioned, we do need the rain in Texas, so that's a good thing. Here's a little bit of rain showing up now in the D.C. area as well, so it's the northeast that's going to get it next. We can track this rain out for you tonight. It looks like the clouds will continue to thicken up. We'll see the rain developing in Philadelphia for early tomorrow morning. D.C., New York through 9 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be a rough go coming into the cities for your commute. Also, check ahead for some airport delays. Chris?
All right, Kelly, we have seen something, quite a bit of it in New York, and that is scenes that look like wintertime, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now. Look at the ice skaters cruising around on the rink here in Rockefeller Center. Lights on the trees, people walking around, wind blowing just a little bit, but not a lot. And soon, this platform right here will have the iconic Rockefeller Center Christmas tree on it. And that's, look at it there on the left when it was still on the ground. It was selected from a home in Pennsylvania. It's an 85-foot tall Norway spruce. However, now it's been cut down and it's on a truck, and it is on its way to Manhattan. The tree will be lit up on December 3rd. So you want to check that out. And right now we're checking out what is to come. It is a 1-2 cold punch. Much cooler air coming in. Pittsburgh, average high is 55. Tomorrow it's 53, down 11 degrees the very next day on Friday. Saturday back up to 50, and then back down to 42 degrees by Saturday. Or by Sunday. Here's a look now late in the week. This is why we're dealing with this. That cool air, that big dip in the jet stream, ridge of high pressure moves through late in the week, and then this weekend, that's when that cooler air does come back to the northeast. So you have another dip in the jet stream. So a quick ridge goes by. That's the brief warm up after around 50 degrees, and then it cools back down in a big way. That's that 1-2 punch. This is how it plays out. Friday, 51 degrees in New York, D.C., 54. Here's Saturday. 48 now in New York. Pittsburgh right at 50 degrees, so it bumps up a bit there. And then on Sunday, Pittsburgh again, you're back down to 42, 11 degrees cooler than average. Boston, 51 degrees. Also some cool air eventually in the northeast. 64 degrees is what you have right now in Atlanta, 67 in Tallahassee. New Orleans, 74 degrees. And as we look at Nashville, 58 for a high tomorrow, and then 54 Friday. Saturday, 59, and then back to 54 on Sunday. So also it's kind of that 1-2. Not a huge change, not a huge difference compared to what we're seeing in the northeast, but still temperatures this time of year typically in the mid-60s. So it will feel cool. Kelly?
Well, Chris, one of the most amazing weather stories of the week is happening right now in the Pacific Ocean. Typhoon Nuri is losing strength, but its energy will have a big impact eventually on the United States. We like this one so much, we brought in a team of experts to help break it down. Here's Tom Nizzle and Dr. Greg Postel.
That's right. I mean, really, weather on the other side of the world can impact our weather right here, right now. And sometimes tropical cyclones moving into the jet stream can do just that.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, we've got a fantastic satellite image here that shows Nuri and how it transforms as it gets to higher latitudes.
That's exactly right, Tom. You don't need a textbook to see this. Look at the satellite pictures right now. There's Typhoon Nuri in the West Pacific, and see those clouds streaming way back? It's already coupling and mingling with the jet stream, and so some of those fast winds are already moving into parts of North America and giving the jet stream a little extra wiggle, a little bit more than it would otherwise have.
And it's amazing to see this energy and see where it ends up in the Bering Sea. This is a major storm system.
Yeah, it is a major storm system, and let's see how this can all happen, how the weather over there can impact the weather over here.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and go to the big screen here. And Greg, this is your area of expertise, and I'm fascinated to see how tropical cyclone energy can actually force the jet stream when it gets to higher latitudes and produce changes in weather downstream in North America.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. A lot of times what we see with these tropical cyclones moving north, the air flowing aloft at very high altitudes, about 30,000 feet, kind of punches up against the jet stream right there, strengthens it a little bit, and then causes little extra wiggles in the jet stream downstream from there, giving it a little extra kick. And oftentimes we end up with a pattern that looks something like this. Now, this pattern may have already been there, but maybe it's got a little bit more oomph to it with the tropical cyclone help.
And that oomph ends up in these big undulations. And we spare no expense here, so I want to work with you on this.
Yeah. And it's not spring. This is still winter, Tom.
Oh, very good. I like that.
So what I'm going to talk about is kind of how it all can happen sort of physically. Like, imagine I'm going to be Nuri in the West Pacific. And where are you, Tom?
I'm saying Minneapolis, the heart of the continent.
Okay, you like it cold, so this will be good for
very
you.
much.
Okay, right? So I'm Typhoon Nuri right now, kind of giving the jet stream a little bit of a kick right in there. And so we're getting some more wiggles perhaps in North America already than we might have. But you know what? Nuri's going to morph into a giant winter storm over the Bering Sea, and you know what's going to happen then.
Oh, wow. Then you're going to see big undulations in that jet stream, and you're seeing those big waves right here. This is what we end up with in the atmosphere, isn't it?
It is. And so let's go to what Nuri is going to look like eventually in the coming few days over the North Pacific. And there is a powerful storm system drawing a lot of warm-up air way up in high latitudes north of the Arctic Circle.
Yeah, one of the most powerful we've seen on record. Well, you're going to see seas to 40 feet out there. Commercial fishing interests going to have to stay in port. But this is going to drive a big undulation in the pattern here, isn't it?
Yeah, and that cold air, some of the coldest air we've seen this season, is going to be riding south across the northern plains. Tom, this is your favorite kind of weather. You know what might happen over the Great Lakes?
Absolutely. You put this cold air over these still warm waters of the Great Lakes, probably an extended period of lake effect snow for that region there. And I'll tell you, look at how far south that cold air goes.
There's no stopping it. A lot of times these Arctic air masses come south. They go all the way to the Gulf Coast, and there's no reason to think that this time will be anything different. Look at some of these numbers for next Tuesday.
Well, 37 for a high in Chicago, 13 degrees below what we normally see. And by the time you get into Wednesday, the cold air is even going to be deeper, farther down into the southern U.S. and parts of the Appalachians, 20 degrees colder than what we normally see. Atlanta, a high of 15 degrees below normal.
You and I are betting men. If we had to sort of pick one way or the other, if this forecast is going to verify colder or warmer, what would you think?
I often see it go colder. I think you're going the same way, right?
Same way. I think we're right on this.
Absolutely.
Watch out. It's going to get cold.
It's getting cold. Coming up next, we have a story about crosswinds while trying to land in an airplane.
Yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking. I've been through it before. I'm sure a lot of us have been. Well, up next, wait until you hear how pilots actually land planes in crosswinds.
Currently in our area, 75 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, showers early, low 70. Chance of rain, 30%. Thursday, sunshine and clouds mixed, high 81. Thursday night, partly cloudy, low 65. Winds light and variable. Here's our 7-day outlook.
For the year.
Hi, sorry, just want to say I bundled home an auto with State Farm, saved $760. Love this guy. So
Okay, does it bother anybody else that the mime is talking? Freaky!
Savings worth talking about. State Farm.
Under the roof of a home or business, damage can happen. When it does, turn to the specialists who put help in the palm of your hand. The Ready App and emergency response plans from 1-800-SERVPRO, like it never even happened.
It's Ram commercial truck season. And if you want to build something ahead of its time, you'll need trucks that are ahead of the rest. Trucks with the best fuel economy, 28 mpg highway, the best towing, 30,000 pounds, best torque, 865 pound-feet, and the best payload, over 4,400 pounds. The complete lineup of Ram commercial vehicles is ready to help you start building tomorrow. Get a great deal during Ram commercial truck season.
Are we still on for tomorrow?
Tomorrow is full of promise.
We can come back tomorrow.
And we promise to keep it that way. CSX, how tomorrow moves.
What a day.
Can't wait till tomorrow.
If you have moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis like me, and you're talking to your rheumatologist about a biologic, this is Humira. This is Humira helping to relieve my pain and protect my joints from further damage. This is Humira giving me new perspective. Doctors have been prescribing Humira for 10 years. Humira works for many adults. It targets and helps to block a specific source of inflammation that contributes to RA symptoms.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Talk to your doctor and visit Humira.com. This is Humira at work.
Making jackets that are built to perform anywhere is hard work. And at LL Bean, we take our job very seriously. Guaranteed quality, no matter what you're up against. From LL Bean.
Dad, I know I haven't said this often enough, but thank you.
Thank you, Mom, for protecting my future.
Thank you for being my hero and my dad.
Military families are uniquely thankful for many things. The legacy of USAA Auto Insurance could be one of them. If you're a current or former military member or their family, get an auto insurance quote and see why 92% of our members plan to stay for life.
Nature Valley Crunchy Granola Bars give you energy from 1/3 of your daily whole grains. So 1/3 of this commercial is dedicated to what you could do with all that energy. Energy to take the road less traveled.
Welcome back, everyone. If you've ever been on a jet plane caught in a crosswind, it is not a good feeling. And if you think you're nervous, at least you're not the one flying that plane in that windy weather. Meteorologist Paul Goodloe turns to the experts to show us why pilots are trained to bring those jets down on just one wheel.
No doubt, it's oh wow video. A plane faced with challenging crosswinds. In this case, it's at Madeira Airport in Portugal, known to be one of the worst in the world for crosswinds.
It's, one runway and it's wedged in between the ocean and the mountains, and it's 200 feet up, so they get stronger winds there.
As that wind howls across the airport, there are things that pilots do to keep the plane from going off the runway.
The airplane, as it approaches, just like a boat, would have to cheat into the wind so that it's now approaching the runway with a slight angle.
That'll allow then the wind to drift them back toward the runway. Otherwise, the wind would push you off to the right of the runway.
He's approaching like this. He pushes the rudder in order to straighten the nose, and he dips the wing.
And lands on one wheel. It looks dramatic, but it's what a pilot's supposed to do.
One wheel will touch down first, such that the plane will be tilted a little bit into the wind and then allowing the wind to push the other wheel down. If they tried to land flat in a crosswind, it might tip them up and turn them over.
How much the pilot must aim away from the runway depends on the speed of the aircraft and the speed of the winds.
If there was a 50-mile-per-hour perpendicular crosswind and the airplane was going 250 miles per hour, the mathematics say that you would have to point the aircraft about 11.5 degrees into the wind in order to have it then arrive properly at the runway.
There are factors that make some airports horrible for crosswinds, including runway direction, prevailing winds, and topography. Even more dangerous is when the winds are unpredictable.
Either the direction of the wind keeps changing or the intensity. Those are very tricky because whatever position you put the aircraft in, you're going to have to correct for those sudden gusts and changes in direction.
Another complicating factor is that if it's a sunny day with a big crosswind, of course you have some up and down going thermals related to that heating that can make you bounce and so on. So those one-wheel crosswind landings can be sort of tricky, sort of touch and go, if you will.
Just about every airport gets crosswinds. Most times you won't even notice. But when you do feel it, it can be scary. So it's the science of weather and that pilot's experience that saves you. I'm meteorologist Paul Goodlow.
Something else. Meanwhile, winds will be a factor in Southern California because of the fire threat that we're seeing in Southern California. And a look at how this is all playing out, how and why this is happening. Big area of high pressure, and within that dome of warm air, there's an area of high pressure that is also bringing that offshore wind. And what that means is the wind going from land to the water. It's going offshore. And it's important here in Southern California because you have a situation where the wind is going through the passes and the canyons of the mountains. It's also going down slope. And as it goes down, when air goes down, it compresses, warms more, and dries more. So you have warmer, drier air and windier conditions, all three of those playing against or unfavorable for good fire weather. As far as you have bad fire weather, means conditions are favorable for fires to progress and explode and develop when you have conditions the way they are now. And the fire threat here, wind advisory, again, that's one component with this. You also have the dry air and you have the heat drying out the fuel. So the sticks, the grasses, the branches drying out even more. Right now, it's 87 in Santa Ana, Los Angeles. It's right at 82 degrees. Tomorrow, still a lot of red on the map, even near the water where it tends to be a little bit cooler. But when you have the offshore winds, it's not the cool Pacific Ocean that influences the land. It's the desert. You get that desert air moving toward the beaches, and that's why you get the warmer conditions at the beaches right through Saturday. It's going to remain hot. Kelly?
Well, winter is officially over a month away, but another storm could be on the way. Who's going to see more of the white stuff, and will it be as bad as the last weekend snowstorm? Our storm specialist Carl Parker is breaking it down for us, coming up next in your winter weather update.
At CVS Health, we took a deep breath and made the decision to quit selling cigarettes in our CVS pharmacies. Now we invite smokers to quit too with our comprehensive program. We just want to help everyone, everywhere, breathe a little easier. Introducing CVS Health, because health is everything.
Everyone sees the same sky. But when we look up, we see something amazing. This fall, you've got to watch the Weather Channel mornings.
It will all start with the weather.
The weather's too important to cover in a few minutes.
It's starting to intensify.
Because it's not just about your forecast.
Look at this! Listen to that!
See the weather like never before. Amazing starts here. The Weather Channel mornings.
Currently in our area, 75 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, tonight. Showers early, low 70. Chance of rain, 30%. Thursday, sunshine and clouds mixed. High 81. Thursday night, partly cloudy, low 65. Winds light and variable. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Let's get a head start on the holidays. Let's open something before Christmas. Not that. Those. And of course, a whole lot of these. Let's make merry, along with a few other things. Deck out that. Save all these and spread more of this. That's how to holiday. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. 100 count clear or multicolor incandescent lights, just $2.50.
In the nation, misfortune doesn't take a holiday. But add brand new belongings from Nationwide and we'll replace stolen or destroyed items with brand new versions. Making sure every season is the season of giving. Just another way we put members first. Join the nation.
Nationwide is on your side.
Get instant access to the hottest new releases with Xfinity On Demand. Angelina Jolie stars in the beautiful family adventure, Maleficent. Rent Maleficent anytime.
They mean to kill you.
Oh dear.
Instantly access your favorite movies by going to Xfinity On Demand and visiting the movies section. Rent your favorites with Xfinity On Demand.
Watching the NFL on Xfinity from Comcast is like having the best seat in the house on game day. Because NFL Red Zone gives you a front row seat to the biggest plays around the league, including every touchdown from every game Sunday afternoons, live, all on one channel. Get NFL Red Zone from NFL Network when you add the sports entertainment package for just $4.99 more a month for 12 months. Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Visit Comcast.com/NFL today.
Regular $269, yours for $19. And Ray-Ban sunglasses for just $85.
If you missed this Sunday night on the Weather Channel, you'll never know how twisted weather can be. Wicked Weather Sundays, every Sunday night at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Welcome back to Weather Center Live. Time to get you caught up on tonight's weather headlines. So we start with an update from Maine. The snowstorm over the weekend still causing major problems at the peak. More than 100,000 customers without power. That number is now down to about 8,000. And you remember that fireball in the sky spot over Chicago on Monday night? It turns out it was not a meteor or a piece of space junk. Ended up, it was a flashy publicity stunt. These were skydivers, 3 skydivers, members of the Red Bull Air Force, as they're called. They had flares shooting from their shoes as they drifted toward North Avenue Beach, I should say. And the company admitted yesterday that they were behind the mysterious fireball in the sky. Parachuters there. And in Hawaii, the lava flow, it has paused on the Big Island. This aerial footage here shot yesterday of lava from the Kilauea volcano showed very little activity. And that's welcome news for the people of Pahoa, because the town of about 950 people, they have been on alert for weeks. Right now, it is time for the winter weather update here on the Weather Channel. For that, let's go into the lab with storm specialist Carl Parker and Kelly Cass.
Chris, I don't know about you, but Carl and I are really disappointed that that wasn't actually a meteor. I mean, what a publicity stunt.
I liked it much better as a fireball.
Me too.
I think I'll continue to remember it that way, as a matter of fact.
I agree with you. Chris, you too?
Yeah, well, Carl was really excited about it last night. I remember.
Was. Absolutely. I love those things.
Well, at least we got the truth behind it. Mystery solved. You know, that's the point, right?
Exactly.
All right, we're going to dive into the winter weather update because some folks are getting a nice little coating of snow. Didn't you say someone got like an inch of snow so far?
There have actually been several reports of about a half an inch to an inch and a half. Temperatures have not been very cold. Obviously, this is rain just to the south, so it's not causing a lot of problems on the roads. And the low is not really strong, at least not yet. So it's going to be pretty light snow on the order of 1 to 2 to maybe 3 inches, especially here in northern Wisconsin, beginning to fill in around Rhinelander and farther to the west towards 35 northern Minnesota. And then here in Fargo, a little bit of a rain-snow mix, and there's not much left. Things really beginning to wind down there. So some snow showers, and then we clear out and should be a nice morning tomorrow morning there in Fargo. And this is our forecast, looking for about 1 to 3 inches around Wausau, points a little farther north. That's tonight and early tomorrow morning. And this is the model forecast, so we'll follow this low as it comes across the western lakes and then gets over into the southern lakes, and we get a little bit of that wintry mix in Wisconsin and northern Michigan tomorrow morning. And then the low moves over into the eastern lakes and will transfer energy to a new low developing along the coast. We call that a secondary low, and this one's going to be more energetic. So we expect to see an area of winter weather breaking out there in the Adirondacks, as well as the northern part of the Green and White Mountains, and then also upstate Maine. And this is where it's really going to come down. And Chris just mentioned 8,000 people still without power. It's not only going to be heavier snow there in northern Maine around Caribou, it's also going to be wind of 10 to 20 miles per hour, maybe gusting to 30 miles per hour. So we may see some additional problems for those areas where we've had power outages.
Okay, that's the bad news. But I guess the good news is you got the blue showing snow across the Adirondacks. Got to get that base going for the ski resorts here. Killington, they're open for business, so a welcome thing for them.
Absolutely. And, you know, it'll be interesting to see how this winter shakes out, because there are already hints that we're going to be into this pattern where we see these coastal lows coming up. One of our models wants to bring a big one up in about 9 to 10 days. So it will be interesting to see if we get into that. And I know that they're really happy about that kind of a pattern when we see that in the Northeast.
The jackpot's certainly up across Maine.
Absolutely. That's where we're talking about 8 to 12 inches of a heavy wet snow, and again, a lot of wind, so there could be some additional power outages there in northern Maine in particular. In Buffalo, it's going to be a rain-snow mix on Friday, 39 degrees, then just cloudy and cooler over the weekend. In Caribou, snow comes in really late Thursday night and then continues through the day on Friday, so easily several inches of snow. Wouldn't be surprising to see 6 to 8, but maybe more than that, maybe getting up to 10, especially on the north and west side of town. And again, it's going to be windy through the day there in Caribou.
We've already seen a foot of snow this month in Caribou. And the earliest double-digit snowfall on record, too.
That's right. And the monthly average in November is about 10.5 inches, 11 inches.
Okay.
So we beat that already with just one storm, and here we've got another one coming in. So a big shot of cold air behind that system across the Northeast and the Midwest, but that's actually not that cold as compared to the next one that's coming down. And this next one is related in part to the typhoon that is now in the Western Pacific and near Japan. As that comes up towards Alaska, it's going to change the wind flow such that we get this tremendous push of cold air diving down into the Midwest and Northeast. Temperatures 15 to 20 degrees below average. Look at that. Minneapolis average 47. Temperatures in the upper 20s.
We can blame this on Typhoon Nuri.
Yes.
Sort of, kind of. Carl, thank you so much. Stay with us. We have one more thing to tell you about right after your local on the 8s.
Currently in our area, 75 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Tonight, showers early, low 70. Chance of rain, 30%. Thursday, sunshine and clouds mixed, high 81. Thursday night, partly cloudy, low 65. Winds light and variable. Here's our 7-day outlook.
you're just joining us on Weather Center Live, here's a quick recap of where we're seeing some active weather right now and what is next for these areas. Here's a look at parts of Wisconsin and the Upper Peninsula. A mix of rain and some snow here. Even a little bit of snow into parts of Minnesota. And for Green Bay, Wisconsin, you're going to have a chance for some mixed precipitation. The rain or snow, possibly a mix in the morning for the second half of the morning commute. Temperatures still just a little too warm to see any significant accumulations. And then looking at some rain right now around the D.C. area, and that's starting to move into Baltimore a little bit more in earnest now. And through the course of the evening into the early morning hours, watch out for some wet roads and some rain coming down for the morning commute for you in the Northeast. We're going to watch that rain move through in the evening hours, mid-Atlantic morning, evening hours in the Northeast. We're going to have to watch out for that. And this is where it's raining right now in Tennessee and Kentucky down into Mississippi.
Oh my God.
Strange lightning bolts you can hold.
This keeps getting bigger as we're going down.
An unbelievable backwards flowing river. From weird supersized icicles.
I looked out my bedroom window. This is what I saw.
To monstrous thunderclouds caused by fire.
It's like a mushroom cloud. It's just exploding.
Oh my God, look at it go.
Welcome to the wild world of weather, where you'll see nature go nuts. Extraordinary events stranger than anything Hollywood can dream up. We discover how and why these crazy conditions happen.
Whoa! Woo!
You won't believe your eyes. This is the strangest weather on Earth. The Arecibo Observatory, Puerto Rico, September 2001. An astonishing beam of vivid blue light, bursting 43 miles upwards into the atmosphere. It's a spectacular natural event, known as a blue jet. Not much is known about these enigmatic jets, according to lightning expert George Karunas.
We're very familiar with lightning, these bolts of electricity that come out of thunderstorms. But there are types of lightning well above the thunderstorm that we know so little about. Blue jets are one example of that. Blue jets tend to go from the tops of thunderstorms up in a conical shape. Very, very bizarre, crazy type of lightning.
Blue jets are electrical discharges blasted into the atmosphere by thunderstorms. They travel 300 times faster than sound, erupting into the stratosphere for less than a second before disappearing.
That sliver of the atmosphere, we know so little about it. The only reason why we know these things existed in the first place is that there have been a few eyewitness reports from pilots flying at night seeing these strange flashes. And of course, that got the interest of scientists who have now verified that this effect does indeed exist.
Incredibly, the first recording of them was taken from an aircraft as recently as 1994. Beautiful but elusive. Very few images of blue jets have ever been caught on camera. Joe Dwyer is head of physics and space sciences at the Florida Institute of Technology.
It seems sometimes like we know more about the backside of the moon than we know about our own atmosphere just a few miles over our heads. It's absolutely incredible that these gigantic discharges, they fill up the sky, they're bright enough to see. It's amazing that we didn't notice them until just a few years ago.
Using a Van de Graaff machine, Joe demonstrates the jets on a small scale.
We can use the Van de Graaff machine to illustrate lightning. We could also use it to illustrate blue jets and the color blue jets. A spark here in air at sea level is very similar to the color of a blue jet slightly above a thunderstorm. Since I don't want to be the target of this thing, I'm going to plug in this sphere. That'll give it something to strike. I'm going to fire it up. Voltages are rising. I'll move the second sphere a bit closer. And there you go. The reason these sparks appear blue is that when electrons move through nitrogen, they bump into nitrogen molecules, which then emit blue light at this pressure. The nitrogen's being electrified. It's glowing blue.
Recently, weather researchers have had their first glimpse of blue jets that extend even further into the atmosphere. So large, they can be seen with the naked eye. These supersized events are known as gigantic jets.
About 10 years ago, we found out that there's this other thing in the upper atmosphere called gigantic jets. These are sort of blue jets on steroids. Instead of going 30 miles up in the atmosphere, they go twice as high, almost to the edge of space. Gigantic jets, as they leave the thunderstorm, they will look quite blue. But as the air gets less dense, as you go up towards space, nitrogen switches over from emitting blue to emitting red.
Want to see a gigantic jet? It's not easy.
What you need is a high mountaintop, if you're patient enough and you wait for your eyes to adjust to the light. And if you're just so lucky, you might get the chance to see this blue cone of light shooting out of the top of a thunderstorm. And if you do, you've witnessed something that very few people have.
Blue jets are extremely rare, but for those who do witness them, they're unforgettable. Saskatoon, Canada, March 2013. A giant icicle is clinging to the side of an apartment block.
I looked out my bedroom window. This is what I saw.
These icy growths wreak havoc wherever they form. Julian Struve of the National Snow and Ice Data Center in Boulder, Colorado, describes how icicles attach to roofs.
Icicles need a few things in order for them to form. The first thing you need is you need to have snowfall on top, for example, of the roof. And then you need to have successive sort of freeze-thaw cycles that allow the snow to melt and drip down and then freeze later. So you have this constant sort of freeze-thaw cycle that happens that allows this ice to build up like we see here coming out of the gutter.
But just why did this icicle supersize?
So places like Saskatoon, where you can have very, very cold temperatures at night, if you start melting during the day and keep freezing at night, you can just start accumulating a lot more ice that just builds up over time, and you can get very, very large icicles.
Giant icicles are amazing to look at. But when they get this big, the only thing to do is close the street and get rid of them. This one envelops the city's power lines. It takes hours to melt off with hot water. This icicle even draws international attention with its own Twitter account. Contractors take a chainsaw to it, but it's not going without a fight. Even small icicles can be sharp missiles.
You can see that the ends of them are quite pointy, so if that were to fall, it's almost like a knife piercing you. Ice is also quite heavy, so it could cause a lot of damage if it fell on you.
In 2010, in St. Petersburg, Russia, 5 people are killed and 150 injured by falling icicles. Even icicle management in the city is hazardous. This one knocks down a set of traffic lights. In China, a car is in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the driver is lucky to escape unhurt. One thing is for certain. With colder winters predicted, keeping our buildings clear of these giant icicles is going to be a battle. Coming up, mushrooms with the power to change the weather.
So it's amazing that mushrooms can control the climate underneath them by changing the humidity, changing the temperature. It's just amazing.
And a spectacular landscape created by this.
That was intense. Those things are dangerous.
Wild Weather at 8 continues after the break.
Hello, I'm an Idaho potato farmer, and our big Idaho potato truck is still missing. So my buddy here is going to help me find it.
There we go.
It's out there somewhere, spreading the word about America's favorite potato. heart-healthy Idaho potatoes and the American Heart Association's Go Red for Women campaign. If you see it, I hope you'll let us know. Always look for the Grown in Idaho seal.
So here's the story of Lancaster. The year is 1890. Milton Hershey has a killer recipe for caramel. Flash forward, Milton's recipe is reimagined into buttery, rich, smooth, surprisingly soft creams. It's Lancaster. It's caramel reimagined.
So großartige Autos werden nur in Deutschland gebaut. So großartige Autos werden nur in Deutschland gebaut. So großartige Autos werden nur in Deutschland gebaut. Ach, verdammt! I said it 3 times and it's still not true.
Performance is now an American thing. Introducing the all-new Chrysler 200. America's import.
Andrew, Rita, Sandy. Meet Chris, Jackie, Joe. Minor damage or major disaster. When you need us most, we're there. State Farm. We're a force of nature, too.
Cute, ugly sweater. Oh.
Right on.
Brett.
Martha.
Great choice.
Thank you very much, Charming.
You're rocking it.
Happy holidays.
Only at PetSmart. Save 20% on Martha Stewart Pets and Brett Michaels Pets Rock holiday products.
See the weather like never before.
Look at this. Listen to that.
Amazing starts here. The Weather Channel mornings. You're watching Wild Weather at 8.
Antelope Canyon, Page, Arizona. July 2013. A bizarre wall of debris is moving along the creek bed towards the canyon, bringing danger to anyone unlucky enough to get caught in its path.
Now, go! Come on!
Whew, all right, that was intense. Okay, those things are dangerous.
But it's this terrifying flood of branches and rocks that creates a wonder of nature. Randy Cervini from Arizona State University describes how.
Antelope Canyon is a beautiful example of what we call a slot canyon. A slot canyon is a very narrow cut through the sandstone that is formed by vast amounts of running water flushing through it. What that does is it creates very smooth, very rounded walls that are just an absolute experience to go walking through. The colors are awe-inspiring. There's oranges, there's reds, there's whites. They all have to do with the particular kinds of sandstone. And as the water is eroding away those rocks, it keeps exposing new kinds of colors, and it's really an impressive sight to see. The problem is, as beautiful as that landscape is, it's also a potential death trap.
Tourists more than 100 feet down in the canyon can be unaware that miles away, a thunderstorm is producing rain, which will cascade down into the area. David Rankin has lived in the area for 20 years and has canyon guide experience.
This place is very misleading. We get less than 10 inches of rainfall a year here. So as you can see, it's extremely dry. And you wouldn't think that this entire canyon, all 200 feet, can fill almost instantaneously with water, falling from large thunderstorms, not even close to where we are now.
David's ready with his camera when the flood hits in July 2013.
Now, go! Come on!
Whew, all right, that was intense. Okay, those things are dangerous.
That day, I was looking at the weather forecast, and I could see that 4 inches of rain had fallen up this basin in about 2 hours. So a few billion gallons of water were going to come down this wash, and I knew it. So I came out to this location, and I watched the flood come through and fill up this entire basin right here. Well, the floods come through, they have kind of like a front wall to them. It looks like a tsunami on land. And it's so clogged with trees and bushes that it doesn't even look like water. And it eventually enters this crack right here, which is known as Antelope Canyon. So these staircases are bolted onto the walls, and the flood in 2013 was so powerful, it ripped them right off the walls. And when it comes through, it's like a freight train. It's like a mixture of concrete filled with rocks and trees, and it's the last place you would want to be is right in front of it.
The problem is when you get an inch of rain out here in the desert, it doesn't really soak into the ground. It comes running down and it gets forced into these narrow channels. And those million gallons of water can flush out not only the rock, but any people that might be in that canyon as well.
In 1997, 11 tourists are killed when a flash flood unexpectedly sweeps through the Laura Canyon. Antelope Canyon now frequently closes to tourists during the rainy season. David has a last word of warning.
Anytime you're going to visit the slot canyons that are all over the Southwest, you want to make sure that you check the forecast, not only for where you are now, but where the headwaters of any of these canyons are for the chance of thunderstorms.
Los Angeles, California, January 2014. We're witnessing an incredible feat of nature. A mushroom creating its own weather system. Emily Dresser from Trinity College, Hartford, is in the team behind this strange discovery.
We believe that mushrooms create their own weather in order to disperse their spores when there is no natural wind to do so.
Wind is important to the spread of spores, the mushroom's seeds. But Emily and her colleagues are finding that if there is insufficient wind to disperse the spores, then the mushrooms have a plan B.
It's amazing that those mushrooms can control the climate underneath them by changing the humidity, changing the temperature, and as a result, they create their own wind and can carry spores, and it's just amazing.
Mushrooms start creating their microclimate with one simple act, by losing water. When the mushroom emits water through evaporation, the air underneath it is made wetter, cooler, and heavier. Gravity pulls this denser air down, producing a microwind, which takes the spores with it. Once the air moves away,